Everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Car Mechanic Simulator. I'm SoCal Thero, and today we are going to work on the Jeep Wrangler that's right over here. It already has the engine in it and it's ready to go. The prior episodes that I recorded before this one came out is the 300C that I completely restored, and the Dodge, I almost said Dodge again, the Ram Power Wagon, the 2500 that was here, and caused my game to crash. So hopefully that doesn't happen with this Jeep. I did bring down this Toyota GT86 when I was finished with the 300C. Ooh, my game's got some frames there, which, as you can tell, it's in really good condition because I bought it at the auction, other than there's some mechanical issues with it that I'll have to go through and fix. And then I just brought down the last vehicle that I had up in my garage too that wouldn't fit. It's a Chevy Colorado, I think, a ZR2? Yeah, ZR2 Colorado. It's in really rough shape, just to put it blunt, and it's only got 5,000 miles on it, so you can tell this thing has been mishandled pretty badly. So we got those two to work on as well. Before we work on those, I'm kind of debating on if I'm going to do the police truck next or the Ferrari Enzo. Either way, the truck is going to need all the parts stripped off of it suspension wise. In fact, let's get that up in the air so I remembered I got to do that. The Enzo needs to be completely stripped down body and engine wise, so it's gonna kind of depend on how I feel with doing those. But anyways, we're gonna continue today with the Jeep Wrangler that is already done engine wise. I'm just checking it one last time, and we're gonna go ahead and get underneath the Jeep and start working on it. So based on what I recall, a lot of this Jeep uses the... In fact, you know what? Let me check something real quick before I get too far into it. It's a DLC car, so it's part of the Jeep DLC. I was trying to think about it. I was like, I think this is actually all fitting, and it has all the parts that are different and unique because it is actually part of the DLC, but I couldn't recall if it was or if it was a mod. And I can see already I need to buy a suspension for it because I didn't do this part of it. It needs the double wishbone shock absorbers, so I have to buy some of those as well. I thought I had them already done, but I must have bought the wrong ones. So we'll get everything else here buttoned up for it, and then we'll come back to the shock absorber. Yeah, we'll leave that for now with the wheel and tire off. Because in real life, you wouldn't want to work on a shock absorber with the wheel and tire still on just because it gets in the way. Unless you're flexible like me and my camera here are. So I just got to get this brake caliper on, and I think the front end... Oh, no, I still got the control arms to do. There we go. So, fun fact, I was driving home the other day, probably about a week or two ago from this recording, and I was driving in my car, not the project car, the Evil 9, and I started to smell coolant, and I was like, oh, that's not good. I hope that's not my car. And sure enough, I got home and my car reeked of coolant, and when I went to go take a look, the go ahead and get this stuff. The radiator top on the Evil 9 is made out of plastic, so the plastic was separating from the rest of the radiator, so it was just spilling coolant out over the top of it. So needless to say, I had to buy a new radiator. I bought new hoses, and I bought the coolant too so I can replace it. I've never done a radiator change before on a car, so my buddies were telling me it's not that hard, you could do it, don't be a wuss. Pretty much typical guy encouragement. Don't be a wuss, get it done, just knock it out. So needless to say, I was able to tackle it on my own. I was pretty proud of myself when it was all said and done. I was a little worried because for those of you that are familiar with is that on? Oh yeah, it is on. Okay. With doing a radiator change, my buddy was telling me you have to burp the car afterwards, which I was like, that's weird, okay. Don't know what that term is. And then sure enough, I figured out after I did it. So I burped the car. Basically, I opened the cap so that I could let all the air escape that was in it for the coolant, and my reserve tank dropped to almost nothing the next day, and I didn't notice until after I got to work, and I was like, oh my god, do I have a leak somewhere? So I'm getting under the car, I'm checking all the new hoses I put in, I'm checking all the connections to make sure I did it right, and sure enough, it didn't have a leak. So I was like, okay, it's not leaking, and if it is leaking, it's not leaking onto the ground. And I was like, let me just fill it back up again just to see, because I had only put about a gallon and like 1.2 in there, somewhere around there. And I put about almost 2 gallons in, and I'm looking at it and I'm like, well, hopefully this doesn't drain, because this is the last of the coolant I have, and the coolant I have is the special that they have for Mitsubishi. It's like some sort of fancy one where it's less likely to rust and whatever it is. Just the really fancy, extra expensive one apparently. So I put it in, and sure enough, it was just from the burping of the car or the radiator. It just needed that to be done, and then after all the air pockets escaped, it showed what the real fluid level was that I had to change it to, and it was pretty cool. After that, like, I'm on day, I want to say day 8 or 9 after doing it, and I'm just paranoid. I keep checking it just to make sure it's not low on coolant. And it still smells like coolant in there because I still gotta just pressure wash it down, because it spilled all over the place. It's just when you're doing a radiator change, the coolant just spills everywhere. It's just prepared to be having a cleanup mess afterwards. So just keep that in mind if you were thinking of doing it on your vehicle. But I had taken a look. Everything looked good. I haven't had any problems with it yet on day 8. So hopefully it's all said and done and good to go, which it seems like it is. But yeah, I was pretty proud of myself after I was done. I watched one YouTube video on how to do it, and it was very bland, but I was just like, you know what, let me just take a look in here and see. And I was like, oh yeah, I think I could do this. Like, just kind of have to work my way back and then pretty much assemble the same way that I took it out, or in the reverse rather. And on that car, it was a little hard because I had to take off the entire intake to be able to fit down in there to take the fan off of the radiator. And then I had to, ooh, I might not have, yep, I don't have those. And then after I did that, I had to take off my blow-off valve because it was in the way, and then I had to take off some of the hoses for those too so I could get to the lower radiator pipe, so I can take that off as well, or hose rather, not pipe. But it was a lot of fun. It kind of reminded me of this game. I think that might be the reason why I'm playing this game a little bit more lately. Not just for the fact that I finally have I have new DLCs and new cars to mess with, but also for the fact that I actually took my car apart because I needed to, because I was leaking coolant. And just to give you guys an idea, this is all going on as the coronavirus in America is unfolding. So like, they had just started in California doing the mandatory lockdown, well, not mandatory, but the shelter in place. And I'm like, God, I hope my parts get here, because if I have to shelter in place, at least I'll have something to do. I don't have to worry about going to work or anything like that. But come to find out later on, after I got my parts and I was working on it, I ended up not missing any work, at least not yet anyways. As of this recording, I still haven't, and it's March 28th that I'm recording this, so give you guys an idea how far along I am in my recordings here. But yeah, as of now, it's not like a mandatory stay in place, and the business I work for is considered an essential business, so they have us still coming in and still working. Dang, what is this called? I keep talking and I kind of front exhaust section D, and I keep talking and then I kind of lose track of what it is. This is the only one that's a D, so I guess it's this one. There we go. Sorry, I had to concentrate there. So yeah, it was pretty scary to do it on my own. I was afraid that I wasn't going to be done right, and then when it was all said and done, I was pretty proud of myself to get it done. All right, let's see on this Jeep how we're doing. Oh, I forgot the fuel pump. I need to put the fuel pump in. It's looking pretty cool as it is. I might keep it. I mean, granted, this thing looks pretty much assembled already, just because it doesn't have the body paneling. It still looks like it's ready to go. I may keep it this color. I wanted to do black rims. I was gonna do like a dark green color, which I might do still. Not 100% sure, but this red looks pretty cool on it. Actually, I think I already have the paneling for this. I think I even have the interior too. Let me see. I don't. I still have the. You know what? We're gonna do this on camera just because I can't do this anymore. Hang on. Not that. There we go. You have to excuse me. I'm gonna scroll for a bit here. I do have the body panels for the Jeep. Where is these Chrysler parts that I keep almost putting on cars that I don't need? It's the 300C seats and the steering wheel. There they are. I don't need those anymore, and I don't need that. I don't need the Ram license plate just because I don't have it. So I don't have the interior for this Jeep. When I type in Jeep, I'm going to try to make this a little bit easier. Okay, there's the steering wheel. I have that. What if I type in Ring? Yep, there we go. There's so many interior parts now, you got no choice. You gotta start searching it now. There's just too many in there. Well, let's get these seats put in. Gotta move the camera just right so we don't disrupt that. Okay, so the interior's put into this thing. Man, they did a great job with this. I've done a Wrangler vehicle model before for GTA 5 for OCRP, and this thing looks the part. You know what, the interior, I don't know if the interior is cleaned out, and I'm not sure if the welding's done on it either. We're just gonna take this over there just to be on the safe side. I'll pay the extra like $500 just to make sure it's done. Even though I could just check it in the status. There you go. Okay. Let's take a look. Yeah, it looks like it was done already. Oh well. It is what it is. Well, let's go ahead and assemble this thing. There wasn't anything as far as extra body paneling is concerned, just because it's a default DLC car. So I'm gonna just put in what we have. Obviously the panels are new because I did sell all the panels thinking that it did have some like cool like off-road ones, because there's so many things you can do with this Jeep. Just with Jeeps in general. Did I? Oh, that's right. I didn't buy a plate yet. I figured they were gonna put it, but since it's a DLC car, I guess they kind of limited it to just repairs only, not like modifications that people do to these things. And I need a front plate too. So let's go into here, go to California. We're gonna need 2. Put Wrangler. Oh, okay. Let's put SoCal Thero Jeep. We'll do that. Because if I ever do get that, if I ever come across the Grand Cherokee that is in this DLC too, I'll put that as like a SRT or something, because I think it is an SRT. Let's go ahead and move this to the paint shop. Everything should be good on it. Oh, you know what? I didn't check the oil. Let me make sure there's oil in it. I think it is, but be on the safe side. There it is. Yeah, that's good. Okay. Gonna close that up. See about painting the car. So we have the current one. Is there any liveries? It's default. So, oh, there is some liveries. That's pretty cool. Got the camouflage look. Oh, nice. That was cool of them to do. Oh, look at that. It looks like the military one with the star on it. Oh, different color star. I'm kind of digging this, to be honest. And you can't change the white, but you can change this. So maybe I'll do like that weird looking light green color that I had there. I could do a dark green. Yeah. Or I'll just do tundra. Yeah, we'll just do that. I'll just go completely different from what I was thinking. I was thinking red, I was thinking green, and then in the end I went gray and white camouflage. Ah, that thing's pretty badass looking. We'll go ahead and move it to the dyno. I don't think I put any performance parts on it, but just in case I did, we'll take a look and see how she does. And then we'll go drive it. Oh, actually, I need to make room. I need to break up the domestic cars a little bit. I've done 3 so far, so the Enzo probably will be next, and then we'll do a truck, and then we'll do this, so we'll move this over there. We gotta break up the domestic vehicles. I gotta break up the trucks too, jeez. I've done a Ram Power Wagon, I've done this, I got this F-150 to do, I got a ZR2 to do. Oh, we're not in there, we're in here. I'm doing this Jeep, which I know it's not a truck, but I mean it's similar to one. Alright, let's see how we do here. Factory horsepower is 285, which is probably what we're going to do here, but let's see. So nothing different on that, just a complete restore, so it's running like it should. I mean, 50,000 miles, I probably could use it. So go ahead and move it back out here to the garage, and we'll make sure it starts up, and then we'll take it to the track. We'll see how a stock factory Jeep does on the speed trap. And this thing's pretty cool looking. Yep, gauges work because it's a DLC car. So they have to make it work. This thing looks pretty neat. Alright, let's go ahead and go drive it and see how it does at the track. Alright, looks like we're about ready to get in there. There we go. Oh, there we go. Oh, that's cool. The dial on the right side matches to the real one. That's neat. They added that little touch. Just noticed that. So 199 kilometers an hour, that is pretty good for a top speed in this thing. Kind of taking a look at it, I wish you could do a little bit more to it. I know it's probably something they're not going to add to this game because, I mean, let's be honest, it's a game from 2018. They're probably thinking, oh, let's start thinking in the future. Although they are releasing DLCs for it, which is pretty cool. We're still doing that with that Chrysler one they just did, but it'd be pretty cool to see like lift kits and stuff like that. This thing would look pretty badass if you were able to lift it off the ground a bit and put some more aggressive tires on it. But I ain't complaining, it definitely still looks pretty cool, and it's nice to have in the game instead of just the default cars. But guys, that's going to do it for this episode of Car Mechanic Simulator. Let me know down in the comments below what you thought, and until next time, take care.